Hello everyone, welcome to Kansas Future. We've got the latest Chiefs updates just for you, and I'll be giving you all the details as they happen. If you want to stay in the loop, make sure you're subscribed to the channel because you don't want to miss what's coming. And don't forget to hit that like button. Okay, let's dive in. This game was important for a few reasons, and despite some early stumbles, the Chiefs bounced back in a big way. Their 7-0 streak continues, and our team remains the only undefeated team in the NFL. There's a lot to unpack, so here are my 4 big takeaways from this Week 8 win. First, let's talk about DeAndre Hopkins' debut as a Chief. This move caught a lot of people by surprise, especially midway through the season. Hopkins may not be in his prime anymore, but the Chiefs saw an opportunity to add depth at wide receiver, and we all know our offense could use a little boost. Hopkins logged about 10 snaps in the first half, and while his stat line was modest, just 2 catches for 29 yards, his impact went beyond the numbers. He helped set up Travis Kelce's first half touchdown and ran a brilliant route that allowed Xavier Worthy to get downfield on a 3rd down attempt. While the high-volume plays weren't there yet, the quality of his reps was high. As he gets more comfortable with our playbook, we can expect Hopkins to play an even bigger role. Next, let's talk about Patrick Mahomes. It's been a weird season for our QB so far. Fewer touchdowns and more interceptions than usual. But in this game against the Raiders, Mahomes looked sharper, more comfortable, and back to his playmaking self. He found a rhythm in the pocket, ran when needed, and used his legs effectively. Remember that big run on 3rd and 12 in the 4th quarter? His numbers for the day were 27 completions, 262 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Nothing record-breaking, but a significant improvement and a positive sign of things to come. It feels like we're seeing the real Patrick Mahomes again, and that's exactly what we need as we push toward another Super Bowl. Now, let's talk about Steve Spagnuolo's defense. The defense has been carrying a lot of weight this season, proving they're up to the task. The Raiders came out strong with Gardner Minshew making some big plays in the first quarter, but our defense shut them down when it mattered most. The Raiders' rushing attack is one of the worst in the league, and we held them to just 33 yards on 24 carries. Against the pass, George Karlaftis and Tershawn Wharton put on a show with some key sacks, forcing the Raiders to settle for field goals and turnovers on downs. Mike Pennell also forced a crucial fumble. So, even though the Raiders started off strong, the Chiefs' defense got the last laugh. Finally, there's a bit of sweet revenge in this win. Last Christmas, the Raiders handed us a tough loss that snapped a 6-game winning streak against them. This was their first time back at Allegiant Stadium since that loss, and Reed and Mahomes came in ready to make things right. Adding this latest win, the Chiefs are now 5-0 at Allegiant Stadium since the Raiders moved to Vegas, tying the most wins at that stadium, with none other than former Raiders head coach Josh McDaniels. It's safe to say that Mahomes, Reed, and company have made Allegiant their home away from home. Fans call it Arrowhead West, for a reason, right? With this win, the Chiefs maintain a strong grip on the AFC West and remain undefeated as we approach the midpoint of the season. But the season is far from over, and there are plenty of challenges ahead, starting with the upcoming game against the Bills. Now, I want to hear from you. What did you think of the team's performance? How are you feeling about Hopkins' debut, Mahomes' form, and the defense? After a slow start, Kelce found the end zone for the first time this season in Sunday's big AFC West showdown against the Raiders in Vegas. It happened in the 2nd quarter. On a 3rd and goal play, Mahomes hit Kelce with a clean pass, giving us the lead and making the score 14-7 at halftime. For those keeping an eye on Kelce's stats, you know it was a surprisingly quiet start for him. Coming into this game, he had just 8 receptions for 69 yards in the first 3 games. However, his involvement was picking up, especially in Week 4 against the Chargers, when he caught a season-high 7 passes for 89 yards after Rashee Rice left the game with a knee injury. Fast forward to Week 5 against the Saints, and Kelce had a season-high 10 targets, catching 9 of them for 70 yards. Still no touchdowns. Then last week, he had a bit of a slump against the 49ers, catching just 4 passes for 17 yards in the Chiefs' 28-18 win. Let's be real. There's been a lot of talk about Kelce's performance and even his focus on the game, especially after some tense moments on the sideline in Atlanta. Fans and media alike noticed, with some questioning if he was distracted by off-field activities. But here's the thing. This team has never lost faith in itself. Before the Chiefs' matchup with the Chargers, Rashee Rice and our other receivers were spotted wearing jerseys in support of Kelce, showing just how much he means to the team. He's been a mentor, especially to young receivers like Rice. And despite a slow statistical start, he's still the heart and soul of this offense. Opposing teams know how dangerous Kelce is, and you can tell by the heavy coverage he's getting. His lack of touchdowns has been less about effort and more about being double or even triple covered. Still, with each game, he's gaining momentum. And now he's back in the end zone as the Chiefs look to win their third consecutive Super Bowl. We're already on a 6-game winning streak, and it looks like Kelce's season is finally picking up steam. So, what do you think, Chiefs fans? Are we about to see Kelce explode for the rest of the season, or is this just the beginning? Now, let's talk about an issue that may be flying under the radar, but could have a big impact as we chase a third straight Lombardi Trophy. Our left tackle situation, coming off a 7th straight win against the Raiders and maintaining an undefeated record. The Chiefs are riding high, but this latest win brought some important lessons, and yes, some new questions, particularly about left tackle Ono Morris. Despite a solid 7-17 win over Vegas, Morris's performance raised concerns, especially against an elite pass rusher like Maxx Crosby. While Morris isn't alone in struggling against Crosby, we saw a number of mistakes that stalled drives and, at one point, were saved only by our defense holding the line. The Chiefs entered this season with rookie Kingsley Suamataia receiving the majority of first-team reps, hoping he would secure the left tackle spot. A second-round draft pick out of BYU, Suamataia has shown promise with his size, strength, and athleticism. Though it's clear he needs more development, that's when the Chiefs turned to Morris, hoping his sophomore experience could add some stability. However, after Morris was flagged 3 times in 16 plays against the Raiders, his lack of experience became apparent in the face of a high-level pass rusher like Crosby. At one point, he even allowed Mahomes to take a big hit that left us all holding our breath. Coach Reid stuck with Morris for the rest of the game, signaling that the Chiefs weren't confident Suamataia would make a difference against such a high-caliber pass rusher. It's worth noting that the team has been strategic, giving both Morris and Suamataia chances to develop without rushing them. But with the season at its midpoint and a big opportunity for history, these questions about our left tackle consistency grow increasingly important. With the trade deadline approaching, Kansas City has time to decide whether to bring in a veteran or stick with these young players. It's a tricky balance. Morris and Suamataia could have bright futures, but as we all know, this season is special. So, what do you think, Chiefs fans? Should we stick with Morris and Suamataia and hope they develop in time for the playoffs, or bring in a veteran for extra insurance? Ladies and gentlemen, the stage is set for an epic showdown in the NFL. The undefeated juggernaut from Kansas City is hungry for vengeance against a rival that left them reeling last season. This isn't just another game. It's a chance for redemption, a battle for pride, and an opportunity for key players to break records that could rewrite the history books. You won't want to miss how this drama unfolds on the gridiron, with yet another chapter in the fierce rivalry of the AFC West as the Kansas City Chiefs prepare to take on the Las Vegas Raiders. This isn't just a matchup. It's a showdown steeped in history and tension. The Chiefs are rolling into this game with a perfect 6-0 record, and let me tell you, they're not just playing for wins, they're playing for redemption after that humbling defeat on Christmas Day last year. The air is thick with anticipation, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Now, it's crucial to understand the dynamics at play here. Sure, the Chiefs may be undefeated, but they're not without their struggles. This guy has been a key player for the Chiefs defense, yet he's been quiet on the stat sheet lately, with just 1 tackle and no sacks last weekend. You have to wonder if Week 8 is when he breaks free. The fans are clamoring for a vintage performance, one that showcases why he's considered one of the elite defensive tackles in the game. If he can snag a half sack or a full sack against Gardner Minshew, he'll break the tie with Justin Houston for the 4th most sacks in franchise history. You better believe that Jones is itching to make a statement. The defensive line has a reputation to uphold, and you know they thrive on that pressure. Now, let's not forget about the leg of Harrison Butker. Last week was relatively quiet for him, with no field goals attempted. But with a chance to fire from long range this Sunday, he has the opportunity to put himself in elite company. Butker is 8 for 8 in his career against the Raiders, and if he can connect from 50 yards out, he'll tie with Greg Zuerlein for the 6th most 50-plus yard field goals since he entered the league back in 2017. This is more than just a kick. It's a chance to cement his reputation as one of the league's most reliable kickers. Every time he steps on the field, he has the potential to make history. The field is set, and you can feel the tension in the air as fans hold their breath. Harrison Butker has the potential to swing the momentum in favor of the Chiefs with one powerful strike. As we head into this monumental clash, keep your eyes glued to the screen because there are so many narratives to follow. The quest for vengeance, the chase for records, and the pride of wearing that Chiefs jersey. It all comes down to this moment. Will the Chiefs emerge victorious and solidify their dominance in the AFC West? or will the Raiders find a way to rise from the ashes? One thing is certain. Sunday's showdown will be nothing short of electrifying. As we dive deeper into this matchup, we need to highlight the broader implications for both teams. The Kansas City Chiefs are not just competing for a win. They are setting the tone for the rest of the season. Every game is a building block, and a victory against the Raiders could reinforce their position as the team to beat in the AFC. They're playing for more than their record. They're playing for respect, for legacy. The NFL is a ruthless business, and every week presents a new opportunity to make a statement. The Chiefs know that the eyes of the league are upon them, and they have to seize the moment. Now, let's turn our attention to the other side of the field, the Las Vegas Raiders. This is a team that entered the season with a chip on its shoulder, determined to prove they belong in the conversation of elite teams. But let's be real, they've been underwhelming. Their performance has left fans and analysts alike scratching their heads, questioning if this squad can rise to the occasion. The Raiders have been inconsistent, struggling to find their footing in a division loaded with talent. They've had their share of missteps, and now they face a formidable opponent in the Chiefs. If they want to turn their season around, this is the game to do it. But how do the Raiders overcome their recent struggles? It starts with the quarterback. They need a commanding presence under center, someone who can rally the troops and orchestrate an effective offense. The quarterback must be decisive, showing not just skill, but leadership. If the Raiders can find that spark, it could flip the narrative from one of disappointment to one of redemption. They need their playmakers to rise to the occasion and make big plays when it counts. The stakes are sky high, and they cannot afford to come out flat. This is their chance to assert themselves and show the league they're not a team to overlook. Speaking of playmakers, let's not ignore the role of the coaching staff. The strategies and adjustments made during the game will be pivotal. Can the Raiders outmaneuver the tactical brilliance of Andy Reid? He's a mastermind known for his game planning, and the Chiefs will come prepared. The Raiders coaching staff must find ways to exploit any weaknesses in the Chiefs' armor. It's about adaptation, finding the right matchups, and making necessary adjustments to seize the advantage. If they fail to do so, they risk being left in the dust. Looking at the matchups on the field, it's essential to focus on the defensive fronts. The Chiefs' defense, led by Chris Jones, has the potential to disrupt the Raiders' offensive rhythm. Jones, with his ability to collapse the pocket, can make life miserable for the opposing quarterback. The pressure he brings not only impacts the quarterback, but can alter the entire offensive scheme. Stay tuned, Chiefs fans, because this ride is far from over. Leave your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all the Chiefs news. See you in next video.